The war had left scars across the galaxy, some visible in the shattered hulls of starships, others invisible in the minds of those who survived. I was a human soldier stationed on the outer rim, assigned to a reconnaissance mission after a skirmish with the Vorin raiders. Our objective was simple: survey the debris field near the abandoned colony of Keras 7 and rescue any survivors. We didn't expect to find much. The raid had been brutal, leaving little chance for life to endure. But then I saw her. She was small, barely the size of a human toddler, but her form shimmered with a faint, bioluminescent glow that betrayed her alien heritage. The Vorin raiders had left her hiding among the wreckage, curled up against the remains of a fallen mech. Her wide, golden eyes met mine as I approached cautiously, and despite the fear etched on her tiny face, there was a flicker of recognition, something almost familial that I couldn't yet understand. "Hey there," I whispered, careful not to startle her. "It's okay. I'm here to help." The girl flinched but didn't run. Instead, she reached out a trembling hand, and I realized how alone she had been. I scooped her up gently, ignoring the protests of my squad mates about weight and danger. "We've got to get you out of here," I said. "You're safe now." She didn't speak, at least not in a language I could understand. But her eyes followed me, wide and cautious, and I felt an unexpected pang of responsibility. She wasn't just another survivor. She was someone who needed me. Back on the transport ship, I learned she was a member of the Salary species, a humanoid alien race with delicate features, bioluminescent skin patterns, and a culture fiercely protective of their young. She was supposed to be under the care of her community, but the Vorin raid had scattered her. Medical scans confirmed she was malnourished, dehydrated, and traumatized, but otherwise unharmed. I stayed by her side, holding her hand while she slept in a cot. She clung to me instinctively, a child seeking safety, and I realized I couldn't imagine leaving her behind. "Who do you belong to?" I asked the medic quietly. "No one knows," he said. "She's an orphan, apparently. Could be the last of her group." I nodded, though a strange feeling gnawed at me. There was something familiar about her, an echo buried deep in my memory, a sense of connection I couldn't explain. Weeks passed as we navigated between human colonies and safe zones for displaced aliens. The girl, who I had begun calling Liara for convenience, remained close to me at all times. She learned to trust my presence, responded to my voice, and even managed a few hesitant smiles. One night, during a routine patrol on a neutral colony, I sat beside her in the small quarters we shared. Her tiny fingers traced patterns on my sleeve, the bioluminescent lines of her skin pulsing softly in the dim light. "I don't know what your name is," I said gently, "or who you belong to. But you're coming with me. I'll protect you." Liara tilted her head, as if understanding the weight of my words. Then she did something that stopped my heart entirely. She placed her hand over mine, and I felt a surge of recognition, like a memory trying to reach across space and time. Something deep in me stirred, a sense of familiarity I could not explain. The revelation came slowly. During a routine security check on one of the neutral colonies, Liara began reacting to a scanner I hadn't realized would trigger her memory. She cried out, not in fear, but in recognition, and pointed at the holographic projection of a human figure I immediately recognized, a photograph of me, taken years before in my previous deployment. My pulse quickened. I froze, staring at her glowing eyes. "Liara?" I whispered. She nodded, then placed her small hand against my chest. My heart pounded. The connection was undeniable. It hit me then, the truth, sudden and overwhelming. Liara was my daughter. She had been taken during a previous campaign I barely remembered, during a skirmish on a distant outpost. I had thought her lost forever. She had survived, hidden among the aliens, and somehow found her way to me without knowing who I was. Tears stung my eyes. I gathered her into my arms, holding her as though letting go would mean losing her again. You're my daughter," I said, voice breaking. "I didn't know. I thought I'd lost you." Her bioluminescent skin pulsed brighter, a sign of joy or recognition, I couldn't tell, but she clung to me tightly. In that moment, the years of separation, fear, and uncertainty melted away. The reunion changed everything. Liara learned to speak my language, though her Salary heritage made her pronunciation melodic and musical. I learned to understand her subtle gestures, the rhythms of her expression, the tiny shifts in her bioluminescence that conveyed emotion. Together, we navigated the complexities of being human and alien, father and daughter, survivors in a galaxy still hostile to both. I introduced her to the rest of my unit, who were astounded by the revelation. They had seen her as a child survivor, someone to protect, but now they understood the deeper bond. My responsibility became personal in a way it had never been before, not just as a soldier or a diplomat, but as a father. Conflict soon returned. The Vorin raiders had not forgotten the girl who had survived their attack. They launched a raid on a human-alien coalition outpost, determined to capture Liara. I led the defense personally, drawing on years of experience and instincts sharpened by the bond we shared. Liara fought beside me, small but fierce, her bioluminescence flaring with defensive energy that she had learned to control. The fight was brutal, but our coordination and trust made all the difference. Together, we repelled the attackers, ensuring the safety of the outpost and the coalition's forces. After the battle, I held her close, letting her rest in my arms as she trembled from adrenaline and exhaustion. I whispered, "I won't ever let them take you from me again." Her response was a soft, glowing nuzzle against my chest, a wordless affirmation that she trusted me completely, as her father, protector, and companion. The following years were filled with both challenges and growth. Liara adapted to human society while embracing her alien heritage, learning combat skills, diplomacy, and the subtle arts of survival. We traveled across star systems, forming alliances, protecting colonies, and healing the scars of conflict. Everywhere we went, the pendant she had carried from her early years reminded me of the bond that had endured through years of separation, conflict, and uncertainty. What had begun as a mission to save a stranger had transformed into a life devoted to family, trust, and love that transcended species, culture, and history. One quiet evening, aboard our ship traveling through the nebula-strewn expanse of the Zorin cluster, Liara curled up in my lap, her small hand resting in mine. Her bioluminescence pulsed softly against the ship's dim interior. "I'm glad you found me," she said, her voice a whisper. "I'm glad I did too," I replied, holding her close. "I'll never let you go again." The galaxy remained vast and unpredictable, but for the first time, I felt a sense of completeness. The human soldier who had believed he was saving a stranger had discovered the greatest truth of all: family can survive even the longest separations, even across light years and species. And sometimes, the universe rewards patience, courage, and compassion with miracles no one could foresee.